don't forget to subscribe for more reviews. Please also like. Thank you.
Hello everyone, Tom here again, and this should be the last video I do on this Abominus Combiner Wars Abominus set. I've got the Transform Dreamwave set on it, and if you've watched my video, it absolutely completely sucks. But one of the reasons that it's so bad is because the parts don't hold together well, and that is because of this tab and that groove not doing what they're supposed to do, which is staying on properly. They just fall right off. So what you can't really, well, I guess you could, as long as you don't super glue these parts on right here, you should be able to glue the whole thing together, and you'll just have a little bit of loss of mobility when he gets to robot mode. I'm not really sure how it's going to look when we get to dinosaur mode or whatever he is, but this is a repair bay, and what I have done is I've taken these that are so loose and I've repaired it for that. And that is just about as strong as we're going to get it. Now, there's not much I can do about the in and out. I don't know how well you all can see in here. Let me see if I can get you. This piece right here is your actual, you know, leg kicking forward and back. And there's just a little spot right here that connects to this ratchet. The only way I could think of to maybe make it a bit stronger would be to put something underneath this just to raise it up. I've tried nail polish to get it to not rotate as much, and nothing really seems to work all that well. Your results may vary from mine, as always, but I'm going to show you right now what you have to do to turn this into this. And actually, it's pretty doggone simple. What you need, I used an old pizza box. I took off a piece of the pizza box. You'll need one of these, just a square, and you'll actually need two circular pieces with a hole cut out in them. That's really all there is to it. What we're going to do is we're going to force it to come together tighter so that it makes a tighter ratchet. So, first thing we have to do is loosen this right here and disassemble it. So let's take us a look at the parts here that we get. Alright, so obviously there is a spring in here that we have to mess with. Okay, we have this piece right here, which went on the outside of it, which you can't see. This side right here, which went on the outside of it, and I'm just going to go ahead and just take the screw out, just because we don't have to have it just yet. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to take our little square here, and we're going to put it in right here to give it a little extra size. And I'm going to have to trim this one down a little bit, and I'm going to have to cut a hole out in it, but you all can see what happens here. That goes right there. Now, as far as this piece right here goes, what we have to do here is this will come in right here like this, okay? This will come in right here like this, and we put our pieces in here. We put two of them on here, then we put our spring, and then we put this piece. Now if you're wondering how big to make your pieces of cardboard, I simply did this. Took my cardboard, took my little ratchet here, took myself an old number 2 pencil, and literally just made an outline like that. Now you're going to have to cut on the inside and probably trim it quite a bit, but I'll show you how all this works here in a minute. When you get done with this piece, it can be hard, extremely hard, to get this paper on here, depending on what you're using. I almost thought about using regular old white paper, you know, like the copy paper or something, but I wanted the thickness of the cardboard here, and I'm pleased with the result on the other one, so I really didn't want to mess with it too much. And the problem that I had is because I hollowed out the cardboard here, I've got all this flash left, for lack of a better term. I'm not really sure what else to call it, but as you can see, I mean, it works just fine. Push it down there and it's great. So then we bring it in and we push our piece back on there, just like that. That's what we do. Now I've been thinking we might put a drop of polish on there, but that's going to be really difficult to do, and I think it'll be alright. But this is going to make a tremendous difference right here. So why don't we move on to the other part. So here are the two parts, and to be successful with this, you have to put this back in here like this. Okay, then you take your pieces and you put 2 of them over top of this. So I'm going to pause right now because it's a little bit of a struggle to make this happen correctly, but I'm going to pause right now and I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I've got both of them on here. You can kind of only see one, but trust me, there's 2 of them here. The next step, the next thing you do is you get your spring and you put it on here like this right here. Okay, then you take your piece and you put it on here. Now there are a couple of notches in here that you need to be mindful for, because there are notches in this. So you put it on here, there's only one way it'll go, and you push it down until you're able to do something with it. And then you take it over here to your ratchet, to your part, and you can just kind of put it on here right now and then move it into position. You may discover that you have to wiggle it a little bit to get it to lock in, but once it's locked in, it'll stay there. And then the final step is pretty much exactly what you would imagine. You take your screw here, get it started when you can, which you have to be kind of careful because you might have your paper in there. Tighten it up, and it's the tightening up that makes it work. So you really need to tighten it up as far as you can get it without stripping it. Alright, so you all remember how it was working before, right? It's still loose here, so I am going to put a little bit of polish on there to see if that'll make any difference whatsoever. I'll put some right in there, right here. I'll put some polish on this part right here, and I am going to go ahead. Oh, I've taken the head off right here. It literally just pops off and on, so it shouldn't be an issue if you decide you want to try this. It just pops in right here, so it shouldn't be an issue if you want to try this. Additionally, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'm going to super glue these parts on. I'm going to super glue these parts on, and I'm really debating about super gluing these on as well, simply because this thing's going to be my Abominus. It's never going to be anything else. So and it doesn't really interfere with the transformation. It really doesn't. So I'm really debating about whether or not to super glue these on, and I may just end up doing that. So I'm going to pause it right here and finish it up. So folks, now we come to the moment of truth. Is this successful? As you can see, I've got Cutthroat here as a foot. He's the only other one besides Ripper Snapper I could make these things work with. So these are now super glued together. They're not super glued on him, they're super glued together. I added some nail polish to the hinges here. I added some nail polish to the feet because I was very tired of them coming apart, and I really didn't want to use super glue on them, so I used nail polish. But the question is, was this successful? I might nail polish that too because that's really annoying. Well, let's find out. Let's get these out of the way. Okay. Move that. I call that a success. Now, it's not the strongest ever was, but remember what it was like before. That is just unfortunate, and there's really, as I said, nothing I can do about that. But the legs are far tighter than they were before. Additionally, one of the issues we have is with Hungar's elbows. They don't stay together. So does this fix the kit? No. But can you pose him? Well, will he stand to be posed? That's a very excellent question. Probably not. You should be able to get him into your dynamic pose that you wish with minimal trouble, and at least he's going to stand there now. Unlike if you watched my other video, you remember at this point in time, this is where he fell over. Look, folks, we're making do with the best of what we got here, and if you work on the hip ratchets, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with the results. If you follow what I've showed you here, it's a simple thing to do. Just I think you'll be satisfied. I know I am. So yeah, this is Tom. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next review.
Thank you for watching my Papa's channel. Please subscribe and like. Thank you.
Another satisfied customer of Vitamin John. Operators are standing by. Call now.